as I promised, today I have a book review! Highland Bride by Colleen Faulkner. So this is technically a reread for me, as I read this a really long time ago. And I still very much enjoyed this book. There's quite a bit of things that I did not remember, but it was still just as good as I remember. I really love the love between Cara and Ian, the whole couple love of two people being in love and having sex and a lot of it. And then the love between Cara and Harry was the sweetest and saddest thing in the world, because when we meet Harry, he's only 13 and he grows up to be 14. Well, he's 13 and a half, because then in like two months time he's 14. Well, maybe not 13 and a half, but whatever. And I think we get to a time like just before his 15th birthday roughly, where there's this big fight that comes out, and so, like, a lot of drama happens near the end of the book, which culminates the end of it, and that was really good. It's sad, but I also enjoyed the end of the book. And Cara is like 26, I think it's mentioned in the book, and it is literally mentioned in the book, like the last chapter. And like the last chapter, just before the epilogue, it's mentioned that Ian is going to be turning 36 this fall. So he's technically 35. So, you know, that age is more acceptable than, you know, a big 20-year gap between Harry and Cara. It's just beautiful. And then this woman is caught stealing, and she's pregnant, and her name is Isla. I don't know how to pronounce this name, but it's spelled I-S-L-A, and for the life of me, I don't know how you pronounce that. I used to, because of this volunteering gig I had at a daycare. One of the kids had that name too, and I heard it pronounced properly, but obviously I don't know how to pronounce it properly anymore. But I love how she's brought in and she becomes like a very good confidant and friend to Cara, and a romance begins between Harry and Isla. I'm gonna pronounce it Isla. It's sweet, but it's short-lived. And then we have Dungald. How do you spell that? D-U-N-G-A-L-D. There might be an E between the N and the G, but I believe it's pronounced Dungald. Dungald. I don't know how to say it Scottish-like, or with that burr, but it's how I pronounced it in my head. He was a great villain. His father was the Earl's brother, so technically Harry's father. And so he ran the castle and all the stuff because Richard, who was the Earl of Dunane, just didn't pay attention. He wasn't very good and just ran off and had sex and did whatever he wanted. And so Dungald felt he should have been the Earl when the Earl died. And he felt cheated. But, you know, at that time, it's the feudal era, so the eldest is always going to be the heir of whatever it is. So regardless, he never would have had it unless, you know, the line of the eldest died. So it would fall to, like, if Harry didn't have a child, then technically it would fall to Dungald, because that's how the line goes. When you're reading it, it's very simple to follow, but trying to explain it with, like, out of sort of context, it's a little more hard for me to explain. And yeah, this is literally in the span of a year, which is it was very fast. Like, we skipped a bunch of months, but it flowed so well. And I love, like, the whole plot line of the story of how Ian and Cara have to keep their love secret, and eventually Harry finds out, and just how this whole relationship goes about, of Cara being very much in love with Ian, but she's married to Harry, and she only has like sisterly love or friendship love with Harry, and then there's the whole brotherly love between Harry and Ian, and like the whole lineage thing just comes to fruition at the end of the book, and it's amazing. I love it. It's not one of the best type of romance books to read, but it's one of the sweetest ones that I love to read. and I very much recommend this book to be read. And I'm a little hurt by one of these reviews that I saw on Goodreads when I was trying to get put on hold like the first two books, and I, was sort of reading the reviews. And one of the people had a very negative aspect, and one of the things they said was they didn't like how oppressive it was, and maybe not feminist, unfeministic, very chauvinistic, but it's the Middle Ages. It's the 12th century because it's 1315. Does it say the actual? Yeah, sorry. It's not 13, it's 1636, which basically is the Middle Ages because of the way they're dressed. And it's like, that's the time period. Women did not have, they had like very little rights at this time, and they weren't allowed to do a whole lot. They weren't allowed to go fighting. It was very rare for women to be fighters. It was more them to be like, depending on the family, they're basically cattle for their husbands, and their father's just basically selling them off to produce alliances or to get an exchange of goods out of the other partner. But sometimes people actually, it's a great relationship where it was a prearranged relationship, but the couple knew each other from when they were kids and grew up falling in love with each other, so they had, they're happy being having an arranged marriage. And then also at this time, there's a lot of fighting going on, so when people took over another place, they took those people that were living in one place and they basically acquired them. And especially if they were like a lord of a place, they would take, if there was like the hierarchy or like the lords of this castle or place that they conquered, they would take them as like their wives or their concubine. Like, concubine is out in the Middle East, so it was their mistress or sex slave or whatnot. But sometimes it produced actual love. Very rare, I think, that happens. But again, it was really weird for this person's review of like, I don't like this. This is not supposed to, like this doesn't happen and blah blah blah. It's like, yes, it does happen, especially at that time. This is just, I don't know. I wanted to get my 2 cents on what this person said, because it was just very weird because of the time that this book is set. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a little disappointed I wasn't able to read the first 2 books, but I'm very happy with this book. I very much enjoy this book, and as I said, I recommend it if you can get your hands on either the physical copy or the audiobook or like an e-reader of sorts, so like a online reading of the book. I do recommend it. It is good, it's sweet, it's sad, it flows really fast. I know it took me so long to actually read it, but one, I was in Disney. I don't think I had this in Disney, but Disney caused me to be later with my Carpathian book, which means I was later with this book, and 2, I was putting up Disney pictures on my Facebook, and 3, I am now finally editing the Disney vlogs, so taking up time. And now, since I have finished Highland Bride by Colleen Faulkner, and I still don't have the first book of the Drake sister, I don't know which series it is, but it's the first book from my Christmas book over there in that big pile over there. So, since I don't have any word on what's going on, I'm continuing on with the Carpathians! And I haven't read a hardcover since like the first book. So now I'm reading Dark Celebration by Colleen Faulkner. And apparently this, I went on the Colleen Faulkner community sub-page thing, and I'm like, I really, really want a Christmas story set in my Carpathian world, and they said this is probably as close as you're going to get to a Christmas theme. So yeah, I'm going to read a lovely tab here, and that is the chapter 1. They seek liberation through their I pronounced that right. They seek liberation through their unspeakable desires. They find deliverance in forbidden fantasies. They are drawn to their life mates after centuries of wanting. Vampires, shapeshifters, hunters, demons, lovers, healers, seducers, and betrayers. You are cordially invited to attend. With her erotically charged Carpathian tales, Christine Feehan has enthralled a legion of fans, captivated by a strangely seductive world and unforgettable characters, both human and not, who inhabit it. Now she reunites them all in dark celebration. After centuries as the Prince of the Carpathians, Mikhail Dubrinsky fears he can't protect them for long from their greatest threat, the extinction of their species. A fate that has become the wicked prayer of his enemies. To ensure it, they are devising a scheme to slaughter Carpathian females. But even with his own life mate, Raven, and their daughter Savannah, vulnerable to the encroaching evil, Mikhail's hope is not lost. In this desperate season, Carpathians from around the world are gathering to join their strength, their souls, and their powers to bring light to the darkness. But so too are their adversaries uniting. Hunters, vampires, demons, and betrayers bring untold dangers into the fold of the Carpathian people. Now, for the first time, born from the uninhibited imagination of Christine Feehan, all the inhabitants of Carpathian legend are reunited for a celebration of sensual adventure, undying passion, and astonishing fantasy, one to remember for 1,000 lifetimes. Well, that's an interesting way to start a book. Yeah, not very Christmassy themed, but apparently it's supposed to be that. Yeah. I very much recommend this book. This was great. As I said, I keep repeating, it's a sweet, sad type of book. It's very lovely. If you've read it, let me know in the comments below. And just don't be nasty in the comments, because we do not need nastiness in the world. And if this is the first time you're watching my videos, please hit that big red subscribe button down there by my picture for more book reviews, hauls, let's plays, unboxing, unbagging, because something's coming up, bubble vanilla envelope or a plastic bag wrap thingy, vlogmas, random vlogs, and random videos. I have no idea where to categorize.